I hate to take that fancy music away, but it's time to get to it. It's 10 o'clock, and as we do most days of the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm here to be here building cool stuff. And as I've mentioned, and as we did on Monday, I am in the process of building what I'm calling an Alexa scavenger hunt. And the idea behind Alexa scavenger hunt is that I want people to have to go to the internet, to their phones, to something, to go find answers to tricky puzzles. I think that's really the way that I'm kind of thinking about this. And so there's lots of ways to put a puzzle together, right? I could write a card to your app. I could put something on the screen. And as we talked about on Monday, one of the things that I really ran into as a barricade was the idea that a lot of these puzzles, a lot of these things that I'm going to put together probably are going to be visually based in some way. And if they're going to be visually based, then I need a device like an Echo Show or a Spot or something like that. And if the user doesn't have one of those, then I need to figure out how am I going to get that image to my user. I think that's the thing that I'm really struggling with right now. But it's not something I'm going to worry about. As we talked about, I have access to my user. There are permissions that I can request that involve their email address and their phone number, so I can text them. And so it's a matter of figuring out how I want to deliver that content. Or maybe I need to shift my puzzles. But what I thought I'd do today, and something I thought that would be useful for a lot of people, is to at least build the infrastructure to gather that email address and phone number from my user. So that's kind of the thing that I'm going to do. No, Ice Cream, welcome, by the way. And I'm glad that you like the beard. It is definitely not CDC approved. But I started growing this the first day we stayed home. And it's coming in. I wouldn't say it's great yet, but it's coming in. I would say we give this another half a pandemic, and we're on our way to a good beard. But it's like I had to trim up the cheeks a little bit yesterday, so it's coming together. And in addition to that, it keeps me warm when I'm out running every day. That's something else that I've been doing. I haven't really talked about that here, but I'm doing a 5K every day. And I'm not running all of it because I'm old and fat. But I'm at least doing that distance every day, 3.1 miles, 5 kilometers. And it's good to get outside and get some exercise and avoid people at all costs. And I'm running as much of it as I can. And when I lose my breath, then I stop and I walk. And then I flip it around and run again once I can. So it's good. I'm not fast. I love that Karthik thinks I'm 30 years old. Thank you for that. My beard would indicate otherwise. Yeah, I can imagine your daughter probably would hate having a beard shaved. Especially if that's all she knows. I have some friends who've had beards the whole time they've had children, and they've shaved their beards, and their kids freak out. I am also doing 1 second every day. Thank you for calling that out, Trey, last. If you guys haven't seen that, this is my stream. Let's just do it. So I can go to my Twitter profile, and let's see if we can find the video. Go full screen on this bad boy, and we'll start it over. So this is actually from an app called 1 second every day. And it's something that I started doing last November. A colleague of mine, we were in an airport, and she goes, "Ooh, you're going to be my 1 second today." And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" She goes, "Yeah, every day I record 1 second of video, and I put it in this app, and then at the end of the month, the end of the year, it's kind of cool to see what it looked like." And so I started doing it about the same time. It's so easy, especially if you take pictures and have things like that. On my phone, I have an iPhone, and it takes those live photos that iPhones do, where it actually records like about a second or two before and after you take the photo. And so that becomes like a 2 or 3 second video, which is really convenient because then even the pictures you've taken have motion. But between those and actual videos that I take, I just pluck 1 second out of each day that I think was interesting. And there are certainly some days where I don't take any pictures or videos, but it's gotten me to be more conscious about the fact that I could. And so I try to record cool things, and when my family's, especially because we're all locked in the house, right? There's all sorts of goofy fun happening. I try to get my phone out and take a video of it or a picture or something. And so you end up with lightsaber battles. And one of the things that we're going to start doing that we've seen a lot of on TikTok is people building like Rube Goldberg machines in their houses, or at least like a course that a ping pong ball could bounce through. Actually, I'm going to step away for a second. Speaking of ping pong balls, I just got these in the mail yesterday. And so that is a gross 144 ping pong balls. And we're gonna give those a run at some point, and so I'll post some videos on the social media of whatever comes out of that. But so we're having fun, and I have this video that I can show you. Let's see if I have. I think that's the best view I have for you. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to get my face off of there. But here, I'll just run the video for you. You can see what 1 second every day looks like. The first day was of us going to the Columbus Crew game. This is before there was really any concern about the pandemic. We hadn't done anything to prevent it. Obviously, people are out and watching the game and stuff. But you'll slowly notice that there's fewer and fewer people in my videos as this month progressed. So here you go. Anyway, so that's what 1 second every day looks like. Yeah, I'm sorry that Star Trek got canceled too, but that's what 1 second every day looks like. It's not a lot of effort. There's an app that does it all for you, and you can even do it retroactively. So if you don't remember for a couple of days, it's easy to go in and say, oh, I need something for March 3rd, and it shows you all the things that you did on March 3rd on your phone. It shows you all the images and photos and stuff that you took. So kind of a fun little project, something that I've really enjoyed. And yeah, so that's something that I've been doing kind of on the side. It's not something that takes any time at all. It's just using the photos and videos that you already take. Ice Cream thinks a Lego ping pong ball shooter controlled by an app would be awesome. Blankenburg Blasts, that's a good name for it. I think this is going to be more of a throwing ping pong balls kind of thing, but I would have to figure out how to shoot a ping pong ball with Legos with the Mindstorms. I'm not sure I know how to do that or have the attachments to pull it off, but maybe with like two motorized wheels, and you could fire those out. Ruffles do have ridges. Lord of Sound, I don't know if you know this, but they have a very small footprint in grocery stores anymore, Ruffles do. But those are definitely my favorite potato chips. I mean, I like, as far as potato chips go, right? Like, I really like Doritos and things like that too, but those are corn chips. So as far as potato chips goes, I think Ruffles are still the best. And it's really disappointing that they don't get the shelf presence that they deserve. Okay, so the thing that I wanted to do today, we talked about this on Monday a little bit, but I really want to be able to capture my users' email address and phone number. This is something that I think a lot of us will have to do at some point in building Alexa skills, and so it feels like a worthwhile thing to sit down and focus on doing. And then I can pull that chunk out and say, hey, if you're looking for how to do this thing, here it is. So I think that's what I'm going to do here this morning is build out just a simple, well, I mean, I'm building on the skill we've already built, right? That will deliver my puzzle and all that stuff. But I need to come up with a way where I'm actually grabbing the user's email and password. I'm sorry, not password, email and phone number. And I have to do it with permission, right? So yes, you can do it without account linking, Lord of Sound. There's a couple of catches to it, and we're gonna dig into this because this is not actually something I've built before, but I know it's possible. There's a customer profile API with Alexa, and it's permissions based, so the user has to grant you permission, which is the real trick to all this. It's a pretty big barrier to ask them to walk through. Hold on, I'm gonna try something here. The lights might go weird. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Okay, there we go. So, so what we're going to do is try to do that. So, in my launch request, when you open the skill, I am going to check for permissions. If you haven't granted me permissions, I'm going to say, this is an awesome game. I would love for you to play, but I can't do it without your contact information. So I wrote a card to your app. Can you go approve it? and we'll be off and running. I wish that you could approve the data, the permissions without having to go somewhere else. It would be nice to have them approve it with their voice, but that's where we are today. Not possible. So what I found yesterday was this, and this is a sample in our Alexa cookbook. If you aren't familiar with this, you can go to github.com/Alexa/Alexa cookbook, and in here we have all sorts of what we call feature demos. These are all the different features that you might want to take advantage of, and the one that I'm looking at specifically is the customer profile. And then we had a version for Node. We also had a version for Java. So there are different language versions of these as well. But what it basically comes down to is a code sample that lets us do the thing that I want to do here. And so I have to dig through this to really find the things that I want. And so I have this thing called permissions. And this, you can see in this line right here that I want to be able to read the name of the user's profile. So this would be their first and last name. I also want to be able to read their email address, and I want to be able to read their mobile number. So I'm going to copy this line into my code, maybe. And we're going to go here. I got to maximize a few more things just so I can flip between them easier. So for now, I don't love capitalize things like this, but we'll just use it like that for now because that's how they have it. And then this is their launch request. Yeah, I'll definitely post. Well, this repo that I'm looking at right now, I can post this to you right now. But if you're talking about the skill that I'm building, yes, I will post a link to this eventually. I haven't actually published this scavenger hunt yet, so once I get this up on GitHub, I will share this repository as well. But if you want just the Alexa cookbook, which is all available on Alexa, I just posted that link in the chat. Okay, so I want to look at their example. They have a launch request, and they don't do anything in here. They just say welcome, and what do you want? And I don't want any of that. I want this consent token. So I'm going to explore this a little bit. I think this is something that we'll need to dig into. Yeah, this Lord of Sound, this specific code sample has that. You'll see right here that I have this with ask for permissions consent card, and then it indicates what permissions I'm asking for right here. So these are the permissions that I'm sending. So that's the sample I just sent you is perfect for what you're looking for. And this is what I'm going to be building my code from, so it probably makes sense to use this. So in my launch request, I'm going to have to do something like this, where I say consent token equals request envelope.context.systems.api access token. So what I want to do first, before we change anything or save anything, is let's go use my skill and then go to CloudWatch and see if that API access token even exists. So we'll go to AWS, we'll go to CloudWatch. This is not the one I want. So we're going to call this scavenger hunt. And it's in US East. I think I put it in US East. No, this is probably right. The Lambda's in US East 1, but I think I have other things in US East 2. I have some. What do I have to do to think about this? I have an affinity. The affinity is what I was looking for US East 2, only because it's Ohio. It's actually located, a few miles from me, which is pretty awesome. So if I look at, well, we'll do it again new today, just so I can get a new entry. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt. I've sent an image to your Alexa app for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
Stop. Oh, and actually, we need to take one other step here that
Goodbye.
I generally take all the time. Artran, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. That's awesome. Feel free to participate in the chat too. I'd love to know why you're here and what you're looking for and whatever. But this is great. Thank you so much. Okay, so I need to make some changes to my code. This is something that I do with all of my Alexa projects, and so this is one of the things that I can get rid of. I don't need a custom user agent, but I need my request log and response log. These are things that log the input and output of my skill, and I always just copy it from the previous project because why would I write it over and over? So I think I have it in this one. request log and response log. These are my functions. So I'm just going to bring these over. I'll explain them so that you guys, if you haven't seen this before, understand what nonsense I'm trying to do. But the last thing that I need is this request and response interceptors. We should probably take this one too because we'll be making some calls. Okay, so now I've added these here. I don't need you. And I need all of you to back up one. There we go. Okay, so I have my response interceptors. I have my request envelope. So what I do here is I grab the request envelope. This is the JSON file that gets sent to my skill, and I just write this to my logs so that I can see as I scroll through the logs, I can see the beginning of the experience where the user's request came in, and then I can see any logging that I've done, and then it's ended by the response builder, which is the response that I send back. So I get each of those kind of end capping a bunch of other logging statements that I may create. But it's nice because then I can go in and say, oh, well, this input came in and this is the output that I sent out. This is why it broke. And so this makes my life a whole lot easier when I'm trying to build something because without this, I don't actually get to see what's happening in my skill. And if I don't do it proactively, then when something's broken in my skill, then I have to go write this and then reproduce the error. Where if you call me and say, hey, there's something wrong with your skill, I can go in and be like, oh, what time did you do it? And I can find all the logs right there. So these two alone are super powerful because I can at least see what happened. It gives me a little view into my code black box. But anyway, that's something that I do quite often. So the other thing that I'm going to need to do is bring up a terminal because we're going to want to change this. Ask deploy. I'm just going to target the Lambda because I haven't made any changes to I've made changes to my model, so I'm just pushing my code. And the -F, if you don't know that, that is a force. And so it says, hey, even if it looks like these are out of sync or maybe there's different timestamps and things, I don't care about any of that. I just want you to push my code live. So don't warn me that I'm overwriting something that seems newer or whatever. I want this to be the version. So we'll get there in just a second while I wait for this code to build. Okay, that happened. Never mind that I'm putting socks on. My house is a little cold today. If a console message contains a keyword like error, Lord of Sound, I actually do this another way. And I think that I have it actually written right in here. So I have a little function called send SMS or something like that. Send text message. It's this little function here. And this is something that I can use to send myself a text message anytime. I'm using the SNS service on AWS. And so I use this as the thing that you're describing. I don't do it in CloudWatch. I don't set up anything there. What I do instead is just use the SNS service and send myself a text whenever I need to. And so in this case, if I go to my error handler, which is somewhere, intent reflector, error handler, I don't do it right now, but what I would do is something like send text message, and then I just need the message, and so I would say maybe just error.stack, right? And this then, every time my skill has an error, I will get a text message, and I'll leave that in there. I'm not going to deploy it right now, but I will leave that in there so that oh, actually, that's not even the code base we're working on, so I won't leave that in there. But I should check my error handler. Let's take this whole bit because I like this. Actually, let's take all of this just to make sure I get it right. We'll take the whole handler. How about that? Just to make sure that I don't miss anything. And we'll look at my error handler because it's probably a little weaker. Yeah, I don't have error stack or anything in there. So we'll do this. And then now I have this nice little sound effect that I use. It's an alarm. But when I'm testing, it's a really visible way that I've broken something because I instantly hear the alarm and I'm like, oh, there's something wrong. That is the one. And I don't know if you want to take a screenshot of this function or whatever, Lord of Sound, but if you want to take this. Let me see if I can just paste this. I don't know how this looks. Actually, this isn't even all the code because you have this, but I also have a pointer to the AWS SDK, or CLI, sorry, SDK up here at the top, which is this AWS. So you would need that as well. But if you want to like take a screenshot of this code, you're welcome to. It's just this chunk here. Grab a screen grab of that, and there's some extra in there, but like with my name and stuff. But you could definitely use this as is. There's nothing proprietary about that at all. I've shortened some things up and tried to clean some lines up just to shorten things, but it does the job. It sends a text message, which is all I really want it to do. I know that there is a free tier for SMS messages, and I want to make sure that I'm not exceeding that because there is a cost. It's small. I think it's less than a penny per text, but there is a cost for using SNS. So if you're generating thousands of errors or thousands of text messages, you'll want to be careful with that. But for what I'm doing, it seems fine. So now we're going to test my skill, and I think it's absolutely going to break. So we're going to have to make a couple more edits before we can really get into this. Any place that I have this .t, I need to come in here and get rid of, because I got rid of all the internationalization stuff. Hello. No, this is help. Help message. So I just, they use this handler input .t. And I'm just going to change this to goodbye. And just one quote's fine. Thank you. Okay. Fallback intent handler. And session ended. I don't get to say anything for, so that's fine. My error message. No, this is the intent reflector, so we just want to say intent name. Can I do that? Yeah. Intent name. That's great. I just want to say what the intent is. Error handler. That's all good because I just customized that. I don't even need this. Lord of Sound, I completely agree. If you want to do caching and make sure you're not just blasting yourself with errors, that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, if you guys want to use my phone number, go for it. It doesn't cost me anything to send a text message to my number. You'll still be using your SNS, but yeah, if you want to change the phone number, that's probably a good idea so that you actually get the messages instead of me. But it would be funny to see all your error messages show up briefly, and then I'd be super annoyed. Okay, so I think I've gotten rid of all the .t's. So now we'll do this, and let me bring my terminal up a little higher. Yeah, there you go. That would be awesome. Turn my lights red every time there's an error. That is something that I could do. But again, it's one of those things, like, I think that would be a nice novelty the first few times, and then you'd be like, ugh. And then you'd also have to have something to reset it, right? You'd have to want to make because otherwise you wouldn't notice it's turning red again. And that's something that I've noticed as you guys all change the light during my streams, is that sometimes someone will turn it red and then someone else will turn it red, and you don't know it changed because it was already red. Good morning, LJ Bed, ad boy. Thanks for being here, everybody. This is always fun to have a good crew to write some code with. Okay, so let's give this another try now that we've pushed our code and see if we break anything. Alexa, open scavenger hunt. Of course.
Launch request.
Alexa, stop.
Launch request.
Alexa, stop. So
Goodbye.
it's a reference to request envelope. I don't know why I don't have this here. That needs to be there. What is the progress of the bar indicating the one titled "Give Me a Follow"? This is just something that I built. It's part of the tool set that I use which is a tool called Streamlabs OBS. That's what I'm using to do all of my streams. That's what all the stuff that's happening on the screen is. That's how the music was playing before the stream started. That's how when someone follows me, those animations show up. These are all just little widgets that I've added, and so it's plugged directly into my Twitch account. And my goal by the end of April was to try to get to 250 followers. And so it's automatically keeping track of that for me. And so it's a goal of mine to try to, by the end of April, to get to 250. If I can do that, I'm going to try and do something special. Maybe we'll do some giveaways or some kind of crazy challenge where I have to do something ridiculous on stream. And then I have another goal that I'm going to set for myself, which is maybe 1,000 by the end of the year. I'd really love to be able to get to those kinds of numbers. I don't know if it's possible, but I hope that I'm doing cool stuff on here and that this is interesting and that I'm not the most boring person you've ever seen. So if you know of people that might enjoy this, spread the word, ask them to check it out. But I really am trying to build a bigger audience here. It gives me the ability to do more things. It gives me a lot more individual credibility with my employer, where I can say, look, I've got this audience. Let's do some cool stuff for them. So that's the reason I'm trying to grow it, is because then I can grow and do more things for all of you. So I'm glad you guys don't think this is boring. I'm glad you find it interesting. That's super cool. And hopefully we can keep this train rolling, because I really enjoy doing this. And there's so much with Alexa to explore, right? I mean, there's so much to take apart and play with. And in addition to this stream, if you guys don't know, I also do several hours of streaming on the Amazon Alexa channel. On Tuesday mornings, with a colleague of mine, we do a show called Between Two Devs. And we review Alexa skills. And so if people have some that they want us to review, generally we just pick them at random. But if you want us to review your skill, we'll go through it and take it apart and say what we like and what we don't like and whatever. And then I generally do office hours on Tuesdays. And then on Thursdays, I started a new show about a month ago called not Between Two Devs, called Alexa and Friends. And that is just an interview show. That's where I sit with somebody that's doing a bunch of cool stuff with Alexa. And we talk about where they came from and how they got there and what their insights are and what they think of the future and all that kind of stuff. But it's an interview with interesting people in the voice world. And so I have one of our Alexa champions coming on actually the next 2 weeks. So it should be really interesting to talk with them, because a lot of them have some very successful skills. I like it, Karthik. You think maybe I should rock a Bob Ross wig? Let's see if that's a thing I can get before the end of the month. If I go here and I type in Bob Ross wig, I'll have the beard. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that seems like a thing I could definitely pull off. I wouldn't even need the beard. I'll hopefully have a beard by the end of April. But, alright, we have a challenge. That's the challenge. I will do an entire 2-hour stream in May wearing a Bob Ross wig, trying to speak like Bob Ross. Toshimi, thank you for the follow, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll do something ridiculous for 250, and then if we can get to 500 and 1,000, then I'll have other goals for that. But yeah, I think a Bob Ross wig, Karthik. I like that. I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget. Bob Ross wig. Also, it should be noted somewhere. Oh, where's he at? Why am I not finding him? Do you guys see him? Are you hiding him from me? He's holding a art palette. Oh, there he is. I don't know why he didn't stand out to me. There you go, y'all. Bob Ross. Happy little pop, right? Anyway, I think that's a wonderful idea and something I would be happy to do. So Bob Ross has a place on my shelf already, but he'll maybe I'll get a little pedestal and he can sit right here next to me or something. Okay, back to the focus. Back to the focus of what we're doing. I've pushed my code. I think we're error free now. Let's see. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt. I've sent an image to your Alexa app for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
Stop.
Goodbye.
Okay, so now let's take a look at what's coming through here. I have my request envelope. This is the thing that I'm logging now. And you can see that it's even talking about permissions that I've requested, which are geolocation, and it has been denied. I don't have access to that thing. So the next thing we're going to do is look at my skill itself. Developer console. Karthik, I'm glad to hear you're feeling better too. I know that cold was pretty gross there for a little while, so I'm glad to hear you're feeling well. If we come in here and we look at permissions, I thought I had requested all of them, so it's weird that it only denied one of them. So you can see that I checked all the boxes. I want reminders, I want location services, and the reason that I want this stuff is because these are puzzle surfaces for me, and any place that I could, if I could write something to your list, like your shopping list or something like that, I think that would be super interesting because you'd have to notice that it changed. So being able to use these are all puzzle surfaces in my mind, and it looks like I'm requesting all of these things, but I don't know. I don't know how to be sure that I'm being granted access to these things. I guess we'll find out as we go through the code. But I have everything in there, so I found it kind of weird that my logs only say that I'm asking for geolocation and I'm not being granted it. Let's see if I'm missing it somewhere else in here. No. So it's only geolocation. So as we go back to our code sample that we were looking at, and so let's see if I can figure out how to do this. I have this notify missing permissions. What is that? Oh, it's just a message. I thought they were going to say these are the ones that you don't have. Okay. So asking for permissions is just sending that card. But what I want to see is, where do I check to see that I have permissions? This is the email intent. See, they're doing the same thing in each one. Oh, I see. There's this. The get profile email. Does this have a get profile? Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm figuring this out. And then where is service client factory defined? LJ asked about how to get the $100. If you just type in Alexa AWS credits, I think they're called promotional credits. LJ, there's your answer. Okay, so where is service client factory defined? I don't see that. Oh, see, okay, so they're setting all three of these values to handler input, and then they say service client factory dot get UPS service client. Okay, well let's just try this with like phone number. So I have in my code here, I have that consent token. I don't know what that really, what do I even do with that? Why do I want that? If there's no consent token, then we send permissions. But it's not like this try stuff is inside the if statement or even an else. It still does this. Why would I still do that if they don't have a consent token? Oh, I see, because if I do this thing, I exit the skill. Okay. All right, I don't love logic like that. That's not an easy flow to follow, but I can live with it. So I'll just copy that. And if there's no consent token, then we're going to do this. And instead of this, I'll say I have written a card. I don't have, you haven't granted me permission to get your phone number. I really need that to play this game. I've written a card to your Alexa app to make it
I'm not sure.
easy to grant, give me that permission. I'm definitely not going to keep this text, but it'll work for now. So, nope. So that is my speak, and then I'm going to ask for permissions, where I'm going to ask for email address, phone number, and name, and then I get response. So that's it. They're just checking for consent token, and then they do that thing. So let's just try that first before we go crazy with code. And I'm assuming that when I launch the skill this time, I should hear that you haven't granted me permission to get your phone number. I really need that to play this game. And then I should see something in my Alexa app, which we'll do here so that you can see it. Alexa.amazon.com.
Okay, here's stock ticker.
Alexa, stop.
The skill, Blinkist can help you with that. Did you want to enable it?
No.
All right.
Okay, code is pushed. Code wasn't saved. Goodness. Let's try that again. And then we will talk to our skill. That is absolutely the worst feeling. I've just gone through deploying code to the server, and then I look up and notice that my file was never saved. But when you're on stream and you're trying to think of 100 things at once, it can be tricky. Okay, we're good on code. We have our Alexa app here. We have CloudWatch here. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt.
Alexa, stop.
I've sent an image to your Alexa app for the
Alexa,
first puzzle.
Stop.
Goodbye.
Okay, so this should be the one. And we can see that I don't have any of that stuff. But if I look at my Alexa app, wait a second, it showed me the puzzle. What? Request envelope, context system API access token. Context system API access token. How incredibly interesting that that exists. I'm guessing this is because I'm a developer and it just assumes that I want those permissions granted. So let's do it the other way. Let's turn off the not, because I want to see what this permissions thing looks like. So I'm doing the opposite of what I would expect, but it's because it seems to think I've already granted those permissions. So we'll push this. I just want to see what the permissions card looks like and how that all works. Almost there, and we're done. Alexa, open scavenger hunt. Okay. Alexa, stop. Errors are
Goodbye.
nice. What did I break? Response builder is not defined. Did I do that again? I did. This is what happens when you copy people's code. They do things that you weren't expecting. Okay. It's little things like that, though. I don't know how you guys feel about tutorials and demos, but as we're going through this code sample, TradeLast, it looks that way to me. I'm not sure yet, but I'm testing that theory by pushing this code. But like, do you see this line right here? This is saying that request envelope is equal to handler input, that service client factory is equal to handler input. I don't understand why that's in the code sample. Why can't I just say handler input.request envelope? Except that maybe the person was trying to keep the lines shorter. But that just adds a layer of confusion that I just don't need in my code samples. I don't know. That kind of stuff bugs me. Okay, let's try one more time. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
You haven't granted me permission to get your phone number. I really need that to play this game. I have written a card to your Alexa app to make it easy to give me that permission.
Okay, so I get this nice little permission card, and I want full name, mobile number, email address, and I can hit update permissions, and what does that do? That's interesting. I haven't created this page yet, but you've granted the following permissions. So you can see that these are all the permissions that I've asked for, and it's granting these to me by default because I'm the developer on this account. That has to be why, because I have not granted these permissions before. If I go manage permissions, can I go turn them all off? Because that would be really handy to be able to test here. I can't click on those X's. Manage permissions. Okay. I want... See, none of those are turned on. Save permissions. What if I manage permissions and say, you can have my full name? What does that look like? Oh, so these are all off. Well, then why isn't it... Then maybe checking for that API access token isn't actually useful. No, I take that back. I see what they're doing. So... No, I think this is working as expected, TradeLast. I think that I just haven't gone far enough. So I was assuming that this API access token that they're checking for, this consent token, was the actual consent, that its existence meant that you had given me permissions. I don't think that's what it means at all. I think what actually happens is this is the access token for this user, and now I can call the service client and see if I can get their profile name. And if I can't get it, then I have my issue. But it seems weird to ask for permissions here. Huh. Why would you ask for permissions there unless... Well, let's go back and look at my old logs. So if we go just back a little bit to here, I had an API access token here. I did. How about this one? That was when I had an error. I can still see the request envelope. And I had an API access token then. Let's go look at another skill, one where I'm not even thinking about this, and I'm not using any permissions at all. I'm just trying to validate how this might work. So what's the Jeff Blankenburg Alexa one doesn't use any permissions. So if I look at a request envelope here, there's an API access token always. Because I'm not using any permissions at all in that skill. And because that's the case, I don't understand why I would need to check for it. And why I would ask for permissions if it doesn't exist. That feels weird to me. Alright, I need to write down that we need to revisit customer profile cookbook sample. Okay. So, if I always have an API access token, why would I ever... Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know the answer to some of these questions, and that's okay. So I always have an API access token. Yeah, TradeLast, that's the direction that I want to go, is like, hey, I need your phone number. I need to know whether or not I can get your phone number first. And I don't know that with this API access token. I actually don't know why I care about this at all. I mean, it's good to know that it exists, but I don't think I care about it, really. I'm just going to use it. Am I even going to use it? Because Service Client Factory is handler input. When do I even use consent token? I don't. So all I do is check that it exists. I'm very confused here. LJ, always, if you have a question, man, ask away. I'm happy to answer your questions, even if it's not on topic for what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I think so, because if I look at these logs, most of these aren't me. This is a lot of people changing my lamp, and I don't use the lamp at all. So anywhere I see a lamp intent handler, this isn't me. And it's got an API access token. Now this is a published live skill. I'm currently in a weird situation where with the scavenger hunt one, I'm the only user, right? I'm the only person that can use it, and I have special permissions because I'm the developer. So I still think this exists all the time. That's the assessment I'm making here, based on other skill data that I have. Yeah. So I'm going to skip all of... We're going to the phone number one. I'm going to skip all of the nonsense. And I'm just going to get to this. Do I want to do this as a try-catch? I probably do. Okay, yeah, we'll do it that way. Because what I know I'm going to do is eventually put this all in some kind of external function that just does a check for me. So we'll do a try with a catch. I have to put the error on there. And so in my try function, we're going to do this bit here. And so I got to make sure I check my handle also. These two are the things that I really care about for now. So this needs to be an async handle because we're using async await. This is the thing that, if you guys haven't used this in Node, this is how I can make asynchronous calls and have my code basically wait until I get a response without forging forward. So calling the UPS service client. I kind of want to just call it this so it's more clear what I'm talking about. UPS service client. And then number is getting the profile number. And then I'm going to console log that number. Phone number. This will be number. I don't like it being called that. Phone. Mobile number. Okay, so I have my phone number, and then we'll also do like a return handler input dot response builder dot speak your phone number is, let's do this the fun way. I'm not going to actually do this, but it's always fun to play with. Alexa, SSML, say as. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I want the actual docs. This isn't really what I wanted either. Is it? Did they just change the docs pages? I want say as. Oh my gosh, that looks like they've changed this a little bit. So, say as. And I want it to say a phone number, which is called telephone. Okay. So we'll do this. Telephone. And this will be mobile number. Okay, we just did that for fun. Dot reprompt. Hi Jeff. Just to put something in there. Nope. And then we need a get response. Like so. Okay, so if that works, great. If otherwise we have an error, which I have not caught yet. So let's give this a run. And then I'll answer LJ's question. If someone wanted to build a skill for like a pizza shop to place a pickup order and delivery, how do you go about it? Will you be using their website API? Would their website API work? I'm just thinking. Yes, you can totally do that. A great model and example of this is Domino's Pizza. They have a skill, and they have they consider themselves a pizza company. I'm sorry, a technology company that happens to sell pizzas, and so they're always on the forefront of technology. If you go look at their website, they support all sorts of crazy platforms that you can set up to order pizzas with. And so they're a really good example of using a skill to talk to an API. They are gathering the information. You have to do account linking, so they already know things like your name and your delivery address and your phone number, as well as your credit card information. That's all stored on their own Domino's servers and data storage. So all you need to do is account linking, and then you can go in and say, I want a cheese pizza, I want breadsticks, and I want a pizza that's half pepperoni, half sausage or something, right? And they can gather that information, they can repeat it back to you, you say order it, and all of those calls, all the creation is basically happening against their API. So I would, you could definitely use Amazon Pay if you don't have your own payment system behind the scenes. But yeah, that's the direction you would go, but it's very, very doable. And I think that if we go look at, let's just see, Amazon.com/skills, and I come in here and I type in pizza, Domino's, Helen's, Joe Cristiano's. You can see that there are a few companies in here. Pronto Pizza. There are a few companies in here that are doing pizza ordering. I don't know where some of these pizza places are, but I know that Domino's is a really kind of shining example of using their own APIs and their own payment systems, and they're just gathering the data required to order a pizza using voice. Because you want to make it as simple as possible. There's no way I'm going to want to tell you my credit card information and my address. We're going to get all that stuff wrong. So you're better off having people have an account someplace else, like an API, where they enter it online or an app or whatever, and then all they do is order the pizza through the skill. That's my recommendation, but yes, that's definitely doable. No questions asked. Okay, I think that I just pushed this code, so let's give this a try, and this is going to fail. I don't even know why I have that chunk of code anymore, but we'll leave it, which means I have to push the code one more time. I don't know why I need to check for consent token. I'm going to have to ask somebody about that. I should ask that question too. Why check for consent token? which is also the API access token. Okay. Code is pushed. Let's see what we get. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt. I've sent an image to your Alexa app for the first puzzle. Good luck.
Alexa, stop.
What is your Goodbye.
Well, this is the wrong group and everything. We want to be in scavenger hunt, which is here. Okay, so I got into here, and I made my launch request, and I didn't get any errors, but that's because I didn't log anything. I think we need to be more specific about our logging. So in here, I'm guessing that this landed in the catch, so let's just do console. Is it misspelled? Oh, you're totally right. But we didn't hit that chunk of code anyway, which is interesting. But if it hit an error, it would have just logged here, and then we didn't do anything with it, so I think that's probably why. So we'll do error.stack and see if we're hitting that error. But it could have been that mobile number misspell. Thank you, AAM198. I haven't seen your name before, but thank you for being here, and that's a great catch. Thank you so much. Okay, let's try that one more time. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Okay, here's Xbox.
No.
Sorry, I'm having trouble accessing your Xbox skill right now.
Alexa, stop.
The skill, Blinkist can help you with that. Did you want to enable it?
Open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt. I've sent an image to your Alexa app for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
Stop.
Goodbye.
Okay, I didn't get any error there. 1056 is right now. Oh, there we go. Service client factory is not defined. Yeah, no kidding. Because they changed all the names out on me. This needs to be handler input. I don't know why I have to change. Why would we change the names of these things? Okay. Push the code one more time. AAM198, thank you for being here. I'm glad that we have some newbies. One of the things that I've been telling people is that right below my face here on the video, I am trying to get to 250 followers before the end of the month. And if I do that, I've been challenged to maybe wear a Bob Ross wig or do something silly in early May. So if you don't mind giving me a follow, you'll get a notification when I go live. Oh my gosh, look at that. You got your name on the screen too. So this kind of stuff is super fun for me. And knowing that I'm able to have a broad reach makes it easier to justify. So I've been convincing people for a while that I should be doing this and that this is important. And it's cool for me because I get to sit and write code a few hours a day. But I get to do it in public, and I have people like you, AAM198, that are able to help me, like finding an error that I just wrote. So let's see if we can fix this one more time. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt. I've sent an image to your Alexa app for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
Stop. So there's my
Goodbye.
1058 log. Still have an error. That's interesting. So it must not be part of. We had it called Service Client Factory, but in their sample code, Service Client Factory was just a reference to handler input. I see. That's a prefixing. So I need to do this handler input dot. That should solve it. Okay. I'm happy to do it. I love being here. I love being able to actively write interesting code every week. So thank you so much for being here. All right, let's give this one more run. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt. I've sent an image to your Alexa app for the
Alexa,
first puzzle.
stop.
Goodbye.
We're at 10:59 now. Let's open this one. The authentication token does not have access to resource. Okay. I know that. What does that mean? The authentication token does not have access to resource. If I take that and drop it in my favorite place. Huh. Okay, so I get that the authentication token doesn't have access because I haven't granted them access. If we go back into the skill view and I change this manage permissions screen to allow, oh, I have to log in again? All right. And I allow this screen access to my mobile number. I'm assuming that now this will work. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Your phone number is opening bracket OBJECT. OBJECT closing bracket.
Okay, so it's an object, not just a value. That's
Fallback intent.
Alexa, quit. So let's do json.stringify.
Fallback intent.
Alexa, stop.
Goodbye.
Okay, so now I can at least log it, and then because I don't know what that object looks like. So we'll try this again. I'm going to push it with the stringify just so I can see what the object looks like, and then we'll fix things to actually use that. Come on, Lambda. Work with me here. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Your phone number is opening bracket OBJECT. OBJECT closing bracket. Hi, Jeff.
Alexa, quit. Okay, so there's a country code and a phone number. Interesting.
Fallback intent.
Alexa, stop. So,
Fallback intent.
stop.
Goodbye.
I have a country code and a phone number. So I should be able to say, at least for now, mobile number dot phone number. And I should at least get it to read me the phone number, which is great. Then we have to go back and figure out the permissions nonsense, because I don't understand how I'm supposed to know that they didn't give me access. Am I just supposed to parse for errors? And if I get an error, then I assume they don't have permission? I don't know what the right answer is here, but we're going to get to the bottom of it. We've got 56 minutes left, according to Mickey Mouse. I think I'm going to switch back to the other clock. I still have the old Echo wall clock, and I feel like the blue lights just show up so much better on stream. Even if I come here, it's really kind of hard to see the red lights. Like, the lights around the edge of the clock are lit up red, but it's hard to see them. It was much easier to see the blue ones. Anyway, side tangent. Okay, so we have our code pushed. I want to hear this work. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Okay, here's Scout Alarm.
Alexa,
Welcome
stop.
to Scout.
Alexa, open scavenger hunt. Somebody just turned me blue. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Your phone number is 614-327-5066.
That's pretty cool. Alexa, quit. Okay, so we know that part is working, and I'm able to gather the information from the user, but that assumes that they've granted me permission. So now we want to go back here, and we want to turn that permission off. Because this is the thing that I'm really going to fight through, is like, how do I know that they don't have permission? Because now I feel like if I do the same thing, Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
I've sent an image to your Alexa app for
Alexa,
the first puzzle.
stop.
Goodbye.
In this case, we're at the 11:06, 11:05. The authentication token does not have access to the resource. But I don't really get an indication that... Let's see. If I do console log json.stringify error, I wonder if that would give me more details. I'm looking for at least like a, I don't know, an indication that I need to prompt them from permissions, because this feels like the place that I would then say, oh, I don't have access to use your email or your phone number, but I've asked you for permissions in the Alexa app. Can you go click the button? Do you guys agree? Like, this feels like the way that I want to do this. I try it. If it doesn't work, then I prompt them for permission. I don't know what the point of the consent token is. That doesn't tell me whether or not they've given me permissions. Okay. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Just straight up error? Oh. I even thought I might need another parentheses as I was doing that, and I didn't notice the little red squiggly. All right. One more time. Man, this is annoying. But I feel like what I'm creating here is the right way. With a try-catch block. Ice Cream, thank you for checking. I'm just interested in other people's opinions, because I feel like what I'm seeing in our sample doesn't seem right. And I would hate to lead people down the wrong path if this isn't the direction you're supposed to go. Alexa, open scavenger hunt. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt. I've sent an image to your Alexa app for the first puzzle.
Alexa,
Good
stop.
luck. Goodbye.
Did I not save the code and push it out? I thought I did. Oh, there's just another log. Okay, now I can get behind this. You can see that my error has... This is another thing that's very odd to me. We can talk about this here as well. You can see that I've logged out the error object that I'm given, and I have a status code that's 403. I have a response code that's access denied. These are things that I can get behind and live with. Access denied is something that I could say, oh, well, then I've successfully made a check, but I've been told that that is not allowed because they don't have permissions, and now I can prompt them for those permissions. But did you guys notice that earlier I had error.stack? I use that all the time in my error messages. My error handler right here. You can see I have error.stack. Shouldn't there be a stack object somewhere in here? Why is that not shown? And if I take the thing that I'm doing, which is my error here, let's bump this down a line since we're going to end up with more code in here eventually. Console log that, and then I can do stringify error.stack. I don't understand why these are different things. Shouldn't there be a .stack inside the error object? Maybe I just don't understand anything about anything. All right. Error and error.stack, just to take a look and see what kind of errors I'm getting and what kind of catching I'm going to have to do here. All right. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt. I've sent an image to your Alexa app for the
stop.
first puzzle. Good luck.
Stop.
What is your answer?
Alexa, stop.
Goodbye.
Okay. Yeah, do you see this? This is my error, and this is my error stack. The error stack is really useful because it tells me like what file it's in, what line it's on. Jomo, good morning. Thank you for being here. Joe, I don't know if this is yours or not, but let's dig through the most recent changes to this. One contributor to this file. It's only that guy. I'm gonna have to talk to Olivia Sung, maybe? Maybe that's who that is. But Joe, I'm looking at this. I don't know how much... I know you didn't do it, but sometimes we contribute to these GitHub repositories. A lot of times, actually. And as I'm going through this, there's just a lot that is confusing to me. We've been working on the fact that there's this consent token that they check for. And then if it doesn't exist, then they prompt the user for permissions. But I can't find a situation in which the API access token doesn't exist. So I don't know why I would ever check to see it exists. And the API access token doesn't actually tell me whether or not the user has the permissions that I need. So that's another weird thing. And then once I get into this, I feel like I have to make the call to the service. This is the customer profile API. I'm making the call, and then I'm getting a message back. And if I get what I want, then great, it worked, and I can do what I need to do. And if it didn't work, then I'm getting an error message. And I think I'm just going to have to like catch this error message, which is access denied 403. I'll just check the status code, but it just feels weird to be right. That's just the user's unique identifier for being able to call an Alexa service. And so I have to check the status code, but it feels really weird to me that I just have to check HTTP codes. But this feels like the right way. I don't know another way to do this. So I'm going to check the status code on the error, and then if it's access denied, then I'm going to prompt you for permission. So I'm going to take this chunk that we had up here. I just don't care about the consent token. I don't know why anyone would want that. That's very confusing. And then in my error here, I'm going to paste this, and I'm going to say if error.statuscode, capital C, status code equals, it's probably a string, 403. There's nothing else in the request that gives me any indication. So this is what I'm living with. So if it equals 403, I'm going to probably have to dig through the docs to see what are all the responses I could get. I'm sure that's listed someplace. I want to make sure 403 is not... Yes, ice cream, that's exactly what I expect to see. And we can check that here in just a second. So let me test this. Let me push this code up just to make sure that if I get the 403, then I'm going to say, you haven't granted me permission. And then I can do that. I have to check codes according to Herman. Let's see. What sample? Oh, this is the 0 to hero stuff. Okay, so this is great. What a great sample, Herman. Thank you. So they're checking and seeing if they get a status code of 401, there are no permissions available, but I haven't seen that in there. But I think this is the part that we're really running into. If the status code's 403, then let's get the permissions that we need. That's more or less exactly what we're doing. So thank you for the confirmation. Oh, you throw the 401 yourself. Okay, that makes sense. So let's get into the code, wherever that went. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt.
Alexa, stop.
I've sent an image to your Alexa
Alexa.
app for the first puzzle.
Alexa,
Good luck.
stop.
Goodbye.
So 11:16, this is probably us. I still got an error. Status, oh, it isn't. You know what? I assumed that it was a string. It's not a string. It's a number, which is what it should be. Let's give it another go. It was just me not comparing it properly. The way I know this, this is working if it asks me for my phone number. If it gives me the puzzle, then it didn't work. Because I have something catching all other cases. So if it gives me the puzzle, that means that it gave me an error I wasn't expecting. Right, one more time. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
You haven't granted me permission to get your phone number. I really need that to play this game. I have written a card to your Alexa app to make it easy to give me that permission.
Okay. So now let's go in, and I want to see what Ice Cream asked is what shows up in that list. So I'm going to go to Manage Permissions, and we'll sign in for the 100th time. And then I'm going to grant that permission for phone number, for mobile phone. Now it's checked. So now I should be able to do the same thing. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Your phone number is 614-327-5066.
Okay. So now
Fallback intent.
I am asking for all the permissions just as a test. Joe, that's a great observation. The reason I'm asking for all the permissions is because of the kind of game that I'm building.
Intent.
Alexa, stop. The kind of game that I'm building, I'm looking for puzzle surfaces, and the more...
Fallback intent.
Oh my god. Stop.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Yes, I'm asking for all the permissions, but it's for a purpose. So what I wanted to see is in the request envelope, what the permissions look like. And they're not there. Fallback intent, fallback intent, fallback intent. This is the one that I want. Geolocation is there, I agree, but that's because it's automatically denied because I'm using a device that doesn't have geolocation capabilities, I think. I don't see anything else there. That's been there the whole time. That's kind of why I skimmed over it. Shouldn't the other permissions just be there? You don't get a list of permissions in the request. Well, that's disappointing. That feels like a thing that I would want to have. Is that then it's an easy way for me to know whether or not I have those permissions. So I have to call every single time. I have to call this API every time. Okay. Okay, we can do that. So how do I best want to handle this now? Because I don't want to just slap this in my launch request. I need to do this all over the place. And ideally what I want to do, I'm going to take this whole try catch and chunk that out. And we're going to go create a function down here somewhere called get phone number. No, get mobile number. I got to be consistent. No, get mobile number. And I'm going to have to pass it handler input in order to have access to what it needs to do. And then in here, I'm going to have a try catch. And if it's, I'm going to just return the mobile number object, which has both pieces that I need. And if it fails, then I'm going to say I think this will work. So then I could just say up here, I can shrink my number equals get mobile number handler input. And then in here, instead of this, I'll just do mobile number. So what should happen, this is what I think should happen. Is that it should either ask me for yeah, Joe, I agree. I'm not being thorough about my error codes yet. I'm going to have to go back and add some coverage for the other possible codes. So that's why I'll have to look through the docs and see what else is possible. So I will have to accommodate all of those other situations. But I'm trying to build out just the relatively happy path for now. So this is how I think this will work. I'm going to open the skill. I'm going to try and get their mobile number. If I call, so I call this, I want to call this async. No, await. And I want to call this, and I want to try and get their mobile number. If I get it, great. It's going to return it, and I'll say it to you. And if it doesn't have the ability to get it, then it should say, hey, I need your number, because it should do that in the function that I created down here. It should do this, hey, you haven't granted me permission to get your phone number. So let's see. Let's see if I've effectively abstracted this out to one line of code. That would be great. And then I could just build one of these for each of the permissions that I want to use. I could potentially even build this out once and tell it what kind I want and then sub in some values. Alexa, open scavenger hunt. Error. Alexa, stop.
Goodbye.
So as we look at our list of interactions here. Oh, because I just dropped that object in there. So what I needed to do up here was mobile number dot phone number. That's just me moving too quickly. Lord of Sound, I just saw your message. That's pretty funny. With all these Alexa staff working on this together, it's like a room full of the top surgeons in a TV hospital trying to save a patient. Except that this, if I were actually a surgeon and this was my patient, it would have already died. I'm not that good or qualified or anything. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
6,143,275,066.
Okay, that's fair. Alexa, stop. So it did exactly what I wanted it to do. That's the weird thing about computers. Have you guys ever noticed that? It does exactly what you tell it to do.
Intent.
Alexa, stop.
Goodbye.
I like the whisper. Every time I get an error, you guys all get a pizza. That's brilliant. All right, so the thing that I needed to fix was... Did I delete that code? I think I deleted it all. It was the part that like read your phone number properly. I think I deleted that. Let's see if I can just remember the syntax. So no, because I don't care. It's fine. It found the number, and it was able to retrieve it for me. So now what I want to go do is change my permission again and see what happens when it breaks. So let's turn off mobile number access. And try it again. Alexa, open scavenger hunt. Alexa, stop.
Goodbye.
I don't know what just happened there. We're going to try this again. Alexa, open scavenger hunt. That's so weird. It's writing the card to my device. But it's not actually saying anything. What it should be saying is that number. What did I do wrong now? Is it actually mobile number.phone number? Did I point to the wrong thing? Phone number with a capital N. And I'm logging it too, so I should see it here, and I do. Oh, that's weird. So I got my errors, and I got a response builder. What was the output? There's no speak in there? Oh, maybe it's just... Okay. Because I'm in the try-catch, I think I need a different... Do I need to throw it? What if I do this? What does that get me? Because it thinks I'm returning no speech right now. Trade last, yeah. We're trying to do this so that you guys have to spend like 45 hours a week just watching streams on Alexa. What did
Sorry, something went wrong.
I know. I see. So you're just loading it up. You're not actually making the call here. I want to make the call right there. Let's see. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Launch request.
Alexa, stop. But it did the thing.
Goodbye.
It did the thing I wanted it to do. No, there's definitely what's happening here is right. What I need to do is this needs to be a return. The problem is I'm returning it to this. This is yeah. I think it's nice to have that alarm because it lets me know when I'm running into errors very quickly. But I'm struggling with this specific piece. So here's what I need to do. I need to, in this get mobile number, I need to not do this. Instead, I just need to do return undefined. That should give me what I want. And then I think up here I can do, in my launch request, if mobile number undefined ask for permissions. No. I feel like this is getting messy. And we'll just dump this in here for now. So I just have my two cases. Okay, let's get to there, and then I can worry about expanding this out to sub-functions. Because I really like to keep my inputs clean, as minimal amount of code as I can. And having all of these cases and stuff in here is messier than I would like. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
You haven't granted me permission to get your phone number.
That works.
I really need that to play this game. I have written a card to your Alexa app to make it easy to give me that permission.
So now we'll go in, and I'm just going to change this back to on. And now it's on. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt.
Yes, okay,
I've
cool.
sent an image to your Alexa app for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
Alexa, stop.
Goodbye.
Okay, So we're in the place we want to be. Did I have their mobile number? I have this all boiled down to one function. If that came back with what I wanted, then we do what I want to do. And if it didn't come back with what I wanted, then we need to tell them, like, hey, permissions problem. Now I need to figure out how to get rid of all this code, because I don't want all this here. How can I do this? I think I can do it this way. So if we take this chunk, which is the stuff I really want, and I do this, return ask for permission. And we're going to do handler input. Compress it with gzip. Also a good option. And I want their phone number. No, that's not going to be. Maybe it is. Because it's all the same permissions. But I need to tell them what I want. So I can live with this. This is cleaner. We're getting cleaner. And then down here at the bottom, I'm going to need another function. This is my get mobile number. This is function ask for permission. Handler input type. And then in here, I can take this, and this should now work. So I can do this, back it up a little bit. Instead of, I really need your email address, or I really need your phone number, or I really need your full name, I'm just going to pass in some strings. So it's going to be like this. And then this is going to be type. I have written a card to make it easy to give that. Oh, that's nice wording. I like that. Okay. So now I have this ask for permission. Alexa, stop.
The skill, Blinkist can help you with that. Did you want to enable it?
No.
All right.
Lord of Sound, yes, you will get an error if you send APL to a voice-only device. You have to check for capabilities. And if you don't check for that capability and you send it APL, you will get an error, for sure. I disagree with that decision. I feel like if you send APL to a device that can't support APL, it should ignore it. But that is not the decision that they made. So be very aware that you need to check for APL capabilities first. Okay, I think this will work. So I'm still going to ask for permission. I've gone up here now and I have cleaned this up a little bit. I still think this can get better. I don't love this line here. But we're closer. I think the next thing I could even do is like drop this here and lose the mobile number definition, but we don't need to consolidate too much. Let me push this code, make sure it actually works. Alexa, set Office LifeX to white. Boom. All right. Code is there. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt. I've sent an image to your Alexa app for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
Stop.
Goodbye.
Now let's go mess with my permissions. Turn that mobile number off. And try it again. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
You haven't granted me permission to get your phone number.
Yes.
I really need that to play this game. I have written a card to your Alexa app to make it easy to give me that permission.
Okay. So where we basically are is that I make my call to my function, and if it comes back as undefined, a value that I'm providing, then I'm going to return an ask for permission message, and then I'll ask them for their permission, and I specifically will say phone number. But I can use these in parallel. Yeah, I'm going to have to use them like this, because if I try to do this kind of thing here, it's just going to end up being caught in mobile number, and that's the issue that I was running into. But I don't need the else. Let's get rid of the else. That's a case I don't need to worry about, because we will be having the user leave the skill here if that was true. And if it wasn't true, then they'll continue on. So I have my with standard card, which I still hate. We've got plenty to solve there, but what I wanted to do right now is worry about phone numbers and email addresses and how I would get them. Okay. So I can even set this at like the beginning, right? I can take this thing. And that's almost like my welcome message now. Is like, hey, I don't have your phone number. We can't play this game without it. I probably want to add more context to that. I can't just bluntly smack them in the face with that, but we are rolling here. I wish there was a way to consolidate that down. But I have to make the API call, and then I have to make some decisions about what to do when I have the API call. I will also be doing things later like storing this in Airtable and other junk. But my understanding is that I have to make a call to this API every single time, because if they gave me permissions once, that doesn't mean they gave me permissions later. And I need to make sure that I have the permissions. Whether or not I actually need their data is another thing. But if I don't have the permissions, then I should not be allowed to do the thing. Well, that was a lot of work, but we got it. We got it working. That's always good. This same process will be repeated for get email address, get whatever. What else do I want to do right now? I can't really take this any further. I guess I could grab my SMS function. Which probably needs to be cleaned up too. So I have all these down here. Request logs. Send text message. So that means I'm going to need the AWS line at the top. Let's see if we can get a text message to send before we wrap up this thread, because then I can send a text message to the user's phone number. So I'm going to need this. But that also means that I'm going to need to do, so you guys can see this, npm install AWS SDK Thanks, Karthik. Have a good night, man. Thanks for coming by. Did I do something wrong? No, it looks like it worked. Okay, so if I come in here and I look at my node modules, I have the AWS SDK now. Great. The other thing I want to see is what does my package look like. And AWS SDK has been added right here. I do not need this. All right, so I've added the AWS SDK to my skill. I have it listed there. I have my function down here that sends text messages, and I want this to be from scavenger hunt. That'll obviously change, but I just want to pass in the message. Ooh, how do you do an image? I haven't tried that before. Let's go look at... oh, Vicky4844, thank you for the follow. Thank you for being here. This is really fun to have people willing to tune in and listen to what I'm doing here. This is a lot of fun for me, and I hope you guys are getting something out of this as we wrap up here. AWS SNS send image. Can I even do that? Attach a JPEG. Only text is allowed. Oh, so I have to send them a link to the image. Okay. I can do that. I mean, that's not ideal. I really wanted to send it right to their inbox, but right to their messaging. But we can. That was from 2012, wasn't it? That was very old. Boy, that may have ruined me there. Let's see if I sign into the console, if they have any documentation. Can I send... that's a good catch, Tradeless. Thank you. Sometimes I'm moving so fast that I don't always see it. Publish a text message. I mean, they don't even give me the option to put an image in here. So it's going to have to be... That's interesting. I want to use that sender ID. How do I do that? I wonder if that's just a parameter here that I could do, like... Sender ID. Scavenger hunt. Comma. That would be kind of cool if I could have it. Oh, it's got to be up to 11 alphanumeric characters. Scavenger hunt's probably longer than that, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Scav hunt. Well, let's just, I mean, nothing like just run and gun, huh? Right, let's just do it. See what happens. Oh, no, no, no. We just reinstalled the Alexa SDK again, or the AWS SDK again. This almost certainly has to break, but we'll see. Well, I put that function in there. I never actually called it. So we need to also call it, which is send text message. And then here I have to say, here's your first puzzle. And then we'll take the URL for my image. And drop that in my message as well. Save. Yeah, but see, then I'm exposing the URL of the image, which is something else I don't want to do, because then they can just figure out what game 1, puzzle 1 is. It's fine for now, but don't love it. Okay. Code is pushing. Let's see if I get my text message. I'm guessing it's going to break because I don't know the object name for sender ID, but we'll see. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
You haven't granted me permission to get your phone number.
Well,
I really need that to play this game.
If we don't hit that
I
code
have
path.
written a card to your Alexa app to make it easy to give me that permission.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I was getting too. Is that people just send a URL to the image? Maybe the phone itself will render the image rather than showing the URL. We'll see about that. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt. I've sent an image to your Alexa app for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer? What is your answer?
Stop.
Goodbye.
I didn't receive a text message. Let's look at our logs. Sending text message. Didn't get an error. What could I be doing wrong? Let's try removing the sender ID. That's something I can figure out later. But I'd rather just see the text message show up. That would be pretty cool. And that would be a good way to end the day. Mickey Mouse says we have 9 minutes left. Alexa, open scavenger hunt.
Welcome to the scavenger hunt. I've sent an image to your Alexa app for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
Did I have to... One more thing to check out.
Fallback intent.
Alexa, stop.
Goodbye.
If I go to my Lambda function for this one, did I have to grant any special permissions? Doesn't look like it. No. Sorry about the dog, everybody. My doorbell just rang. Why wouldn't this message be sending? Without any errors. That's the weird part. Like, when I built that function, I would get a bunch of errors as I was building it, and then... Sending text message. That looks right. But I'm not getting any text messages. You got me. I am getting text messages, but they're just not the right ones. Do I need any of the other AWS stuff? I don't think I do. This one's definitely working. Send text message. If I in the lamp function and the lamp handler, do I send a text message? I don't. But I do it when you ask about my favorite. Let's see. Alexa, ask Jeff Blankenburg for his favorite dessert.
I don't currently have a favorite undefined. At least, I didn't add it to this skill. I'll think about what I should say, and add it here in the future. What would you like to know?
What is your favorite dessert?
I don't currently have a favorite dessert. At least, I didn't add it to this skill. I'll think about what I should say, and add it here in the future. What would you like to know?
Stop.
Toodaloo, kangaroo.
Well, okay, so my code for sending a text message isn't working at all for some reason, but it was. I was getting a bunch of messages. I wonder if I've exceeded some limit. Having a bunch fail. Don't know why. Well, that's for another time. We're running short on time here, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to get this to work another time. So with that, we've been at it for about 2 hours. We've gotten permission stuff all figured out, and we were able to get all that kind of abstracted out so that now we can easily call a function and get a user's phone number or let them know that, hey, we really need their phone number. And these will be good foundations for the things that we're going to do next in this game, which is mess with our users and make them solve incredibly difficult puzzles. So with that, I will sign off for today. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you for the follows. And we'll continue driving forward towards 250, hopefully by the end of the month. So tell your friends, have people come by. Continue to ask the questions because I really enjoy the conversation. So thank you guys all for coming. I will see you again on Friday.